Hi guys, so it is the beginning of the month, kind of. We're kind of running late on that, but it's kind of the beginning of the month, and that means this month's Artsnacks box has shown up. So this is the August 2018 Artsnacks box. I actually got this in the mail probably like almost a week ago now. I got it a little bit before CoronaCon, and I didn't really have time to even look through it, so this is actually the very first box that I have recorded that I have not opened yet. This is my genuine first impressions on everything. I haven't seen any of the stuff inside. I got a tiny spoiler this morning because I was on Instagram and I did scroll past someone who had done like the Artsnacks challenge, which is basically you use the supplies from the box, take a picture and post it to social media with hashtag Artsnacks challenge. And I noticed it was the new box just because it was products I hadn't used, and I scrolled right past that, but I knew there were going to be watercolors in this box, so that's also really exciting though, because I love watercolors and I'm 100% down to trying new watercolors, so I was very excited to try this. So for the watercolors, they actually sent 2 sets of the daler-rowney Aquafine watercolor half pan twin sets. These retail at $6.99 each according to the little sheet that they send you telling how much things retail at. And also in this box, there was a Kuretake Nihondate Kabura Fude brush pen. It says how to pronounce here, but I didn't look at that until just now. But it also came with a Robert Simmons watercolor brush, which I did not use a whole lot. I'm not a huge fan of super small brushes just because like that level of detail is something that's out of my comfort zone, and I don't know, I don't like super tiny brushes. They're nice to have in case you need them, but as a whole, I just kind of go for like round brushes, and I'll get a semi-small size and just get a fine point out of that. I don't really mess with super tiny brushes just because to me they're really hard to control, and I would rather not go down that road. In this box, it also came with, the paper I'm using is Liaquarelle, maybe? Canson Heritage watercolor paper. It just came with 3 small sheets of that, which was really nice actually, because when they send things like watercolors, it's nice to have appropriate paper for people who don't have good watercolor paper, just because something like watercolors, they really shine on watercolor paper, versus obviously if you use it on printer paper, it's gonna look like crap, it's gonna crinkle, and you're probably not gonna like watercolors. Because I think the most important thing about watercolor is having nice paper. Because even if you have crappy brushes and even if you have crappy paints, you can do a very large variety of stuff if you have nice paper. And then also in this box, the last thing was it just came with an Artsnacks X Dixon Ticonderoga No. 2 pencil. So it's just your standard No. 2 pencil. But it's really cool because I guess Artsnacks partnered with them and they had their own little exclusive set of Artsnacks pencils. And they're just regular No. 2 pencils, they just say Artsnacks on them. And that's really cool if you're into wooden pencils. Personally, I'm not super into them anymore. I used to solely use like graphite wooden pencils to draw a couple years ago, but as of recently, I have definitely stuck to colored lead pencils. Initially, I pretty much used the Prismacolor Color Erase pencils to draw, and then recently I have gotten into using just like mechanical pencils with colored lead, just because I really like those, because you don't have to sharpen them, and they're always a fine point. I personally like the feel of the Color Erase pencils more, but I'm getting off track. I don't really like graphite pencils. I never use graphite pencils. I just feel like they muddy things down. Because personally, like when I do watercolor and stuff, or even like Copic art, I don't erase the pencil work underneath, and I like the way it looks when it's colored lead. I'm pretty sure I've talked about this before. I don't mess with graphite pencils anymore, just because I'm not about erasing that. I'm lazy. But so after I did real quick swatches, I went ahead and initially I was just going to do these little paintings, but they were kind of a cop-out for this video. I feel like that would be very cheap just to do little tiny, very basic paintings that I have also done very similar things before. So I did do an actual like page in my sketchbook after this, just because first and foremost, I didn't really like these. They were definitely something that was nice to try out the paints. And I did keep the like color schemes separate from each other. I know obviously you can mix them if you want to, but I just kept the blues with the blues and like the burnt sienna with the whatever the other one was. But I was really excited about getting some blues. I don't know if there were, because normally Artsnacks, when they have like a product that's colored, different boxes come with different colors, if that makes sense. So like you might get like a blue, but someone else will get like a pink or a green or something. They normally have a couple colors that just randomly come in your box. So I'm not sure if with these paints there were more of a variety of colors, which would be really cool, because if there were more of a variety, then you could get a lot of different color combinations. But I was definitely glad that I got blues, because my favorite color to actually paint watercolors with is probably blue. I feel like you can just get so many shades and so many tones out of blue. And if you have a really nice like brand of watercolor and it's very pigmented, blues look absolutely gorgeous. So I was really happy about those blues. I didn't use it a whole lot in the actual like final piece I did, but I did use it a little bit. And so I went ahead real quick and I sketched this little girl with wings. I didn't really have anything in mind. I kind of just wung it. Haha. Wings, wung. Wow. But I kind of just did that real quick, and I don't know. I haven't been doing a whole lot of art lately. If you follow my channel, you know that I haven't been doing a whole lot of art lately. Like, for the most part, probably like 95% of my recent art has been stuff I've made videos for, and that's just because I have been like putting all of my free time recently into finishing cosplays for KuronEcoCon. But KuronEcoCon was, as the time of me recording this, was this past weekend. So that's really nice, because now everything is done and I can actually focus more on art again, which is nice because I have definitely had to like shove it to the side. Also, more on this drawing, because I'm getting distracted. The black thing, the Kuretake thing, the Kuretake Fude brush, that is really cool because it is water soluble. So I knew that because I read the little, every Artsnacks box comes with a little paper that tells you what everything is and comes with a brief description on it. And on that it said it was water soluble, which was nice because upon sketching this, I knew I wanted her wings to be black, but obviously I couldn't really achieve that with the watercolors. So I kind of intended, initially I didn't want to, just because I didn't know how it would look. But with this piece in particular, I kind of just wanted it to be messy after a certain point. I didn't want it to be refined. Like halfway through the sketch, I was like, you know what, I'm okay if this is messy. I don't really mind. It doesn't have to be like super refined or precise or anything. I just wanted to make art. So I went over part of the wings with the Fude brush thing. I don't know what to call it. I don't know what to shorten its name by to call it. The brush pen. I went over that and I watered it down and it looks so cool. I was really happy with how that looked. And then I also used it on her hair and her eyebrows, but I didn't use water on those parts. I just wanted those to look as they did when I laid down the color. I also tried to kind of outline with a Prismacolor color erase. I think it's a color erase. It might be a Verithin. I don't know, a Prismacolor colored pencil of some sort. I tried to line slightly over things. I still wanted it to have kind of a messier look, and I just didn't like how that looked, so I went over it with the actual like graphite pencil that it came with, which I don't like to use graphite pencils, but I wanted to use it for this actual piece. And then I went over everything, not everything, but certain parts of it with the brush pen itself. And then the last thing I did was I taped in the little swatches and little tiny paintings I did into my sketchbook. And so I used washi tape and this really strong like double-sided tape to like ensure that that washi tape was not going to give off the paper. And then I just made them little flippable things because that way they didn't cover the entire drawing. So that is actually it for this piece then. I'm pretty happy with how this looks, simply because I haven't really done a whole lot of art lately, and it is definitely nice to kind of get back into the swing of things. It's messy, but I kind of like how messy it is, and that's weird for me because a lot of my art is very like clean and refined. So it's nice to do something that's not my normal and just have fun with it. And that's really nice about Artsnacks, because you get new materials, you're not like in your comfort zone, and you're able to do something, as long as you don't like stress out and worry about it, you're able to do something cool with it. So that is always nice. So this is how the piece turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. CoronacoCon is over, so I will hopefully go back to a kind of normal schedule of posting actual art videos. But for the time being, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!